Welcome back to the Onyx Report's Black Masculinist News for the day. Hope y'all forgive me. I took a few days off. I am getting back into the flow of things. Thought this was an interesting one that you guys might get something out of. A young woman talking about her father. Give it a listen. Well, it would help.
Every morning he walks me up to the door.
Hold on. All right, let's get the sound together here. There we go.
Very, very big person in my life. Every morning he walks me up to the doors to school, just little things that really impact me, or every day after he picks me up, how was your day? Never missing a step, even if he's having a bad day. He's always there, every concert, every practice, always there, picking me up from school. It's definitely a very good experience of how he shows me who a man really needs to be.
I love that.
How I really need to kind of learn that people respect you and need to really show you how he really shows me how a gentleman is supposed to act and how a father needs to be, and how just he's a very inspirational person to me, especially with his business and all these amazing, incredible things that he's doing. It's just it impacts me so much, and just it's definitely a very, very big person in my life. Every morning he walks me.
Interesting. Definitely had a brother, had the father in tears. There's no question about that. Like, y'all saw that. But the reality for many black men is that they don't often hear appreciation for their sacrifices. If anything, we're told, where it's at least insinuated, we make none of relevance. Right? This is what I wrote when I posted this on my Facebook page. It said, my son did this the other night, which was true. He basically did this the other night, just out of the blue. And, it must have been a lot of dust in the room or something. My eyes kept messing with me. Y'all know how it is. Anyway, but he had me broke up. What I wrote, but to be truthful, I've not heard much of this from women in general. And I don't just mean personally. When I ask black men whether they've been told how appreciated they are for their sacrifices, an extremely small percentage say that they've been told such by lovers, wives, mothers, etc. When they have, it's been more daughters than anything else, as in the video. They're more often than not, they've been treated as if what they've done for women is a debt paid for the blessing of her presence. I myself have paid for degrees, bought cars, paid debts, physically and professionally challenged other men to protect them, to protect women, took care of sicknesses, paid for trips, covered family emergencies, etc., etc. Rarely a thank you can I remember. I'm not upset because I didn't do it for the thank you, but when you can't remember the last time a loved one seemed to value you, it wears on you. And the low-boiling, misandric contempt and disrespectful treatment and speech black men can often attest to, that's all the recipe for what I call hashtag walk away. Right? And this basically has to do with brothers having enough respect for themselves. But anyway, let me just finish the last portion. The last sentence is, persevere, brothers, and honor those who honor you. Otherwise, go where you're appreciated, not where you're tolerated. I want brothers to really take that to heart. You know what I mean? Now, statistically, we know that in many studies, black men have been deemed the most progressive group of men. And in other studies, black men are the most attentive fathers. So in terms of family, stereotypes about black men being less than are, exaggerations, if anything else. And they are just that, stereotypes. Actually, black men fare quite well in terms of how they're viewed, how they treat others. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we understand alienation, exploitation, so on and so forth. So in response, you have many black men who've pushed, to be far more progressive over the last few decades. And one study by, I think it's Evelyn Simeon, she acknowledged that black men were actually more progressive than their black female counterparts, a lot of which had to do with the influence of the church. Even when it came to issues of feminism, black men were like, well, she got it. She can do it herself in ways that women didn't necessarily even push for. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It is what it is. But the point is that black men have been maligned by stereotype. And what this daughter is saying to her father is far more the norm than not. far more the norm than not, in terms of how black men parent, as well as the presence they have in their loved ones' lives. But again, how many brothers actually get acknowledged and treated as, in relation to what they extend? I can't tell you how many times, whether it's in my classes or in my comment sections on videos, I'll have women coming in and giving all kinds of venom, most particularly feminists, right? And they'll talk about, their frustrations with men and then their, how much they kind of learn from their mothers and their grandmothers. And when I start asking questions, right, one of the things you find that there was a grandfather or a father who was there, paying the bills, being present, being consistent, and somehow in the memory of upbringing, men are invisible, even retroactively speaking. I'm talking to someone, and you see this, in Kev's shows as well, when he talks to women and, they have these kind of discussions about what they want in a man. He actually has to ask them about their fathers. And a lot of the time I'm hearing women that don't even consider their father's presence, even when he's been there the whole time, won't ask for his advice now when it comes to mating or dating. And then when asked or pressed about it, will say that he didn't make enough, the father, therefore she needs something way more. And these kind of things just speak to, this kind of low boiling contempt that black men talk about, and it needs to be called out. And my thing with that, brothers, is I want black men to honor themselves enough to know when to walk away. Now, if you have somebody that's putting in effort, like even if they don't articulate it as clearly as this young lady did, right? Even if they don't articulate it as clearly as this young lady did, if there is a spirit of gratitude, that's different. It's different. You can work with a spirit of gratitude if it's coming from someone that appreciates and acknowledges the sacrifice. They may not have the words, but if they express that energy, I'm all for it. But if there's none of that, if it's nothing but contempt, if it's nothing but obliviousness, if you're invisible, if you are, as BGS said, the floor beneath her feet, hashtag walk away. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, go where you're celebrating, man. You don't have to, we are at a point where I've watched black men for several decades take shit that they really didn't deserve, or pay the debt for another man's crimes and never be exonerated, even if it's something they didn't do. I myself have experienced this, where you put in years of work and you're still being held accountable for something that happened a decade ago or more. And it just doesn't matter. So at a certain point, I want you brothers to honor and love yourself enough to find the kind of company, whatever that may be, that honors you. And this may even be with a collective of brothers that you may be in. If you just don't find any respect, there's nothing wrong with keeping it pushing until you do. But I'm going to tell you, when you are acknowledged, it does something. Like I said, I was sitting there talking to my son, and one of the things that I was concerned about, since his mother passed 2009, so we're talking about 12 years now, right? And I was worried because it's just been him and I, right? And, I wanted him to have the masculine and feminine balance in the house. I wanted him to understand a woman's nature, but most particularly a mother's nature. But we never quite, I never could quite make that happen, right? So I was worried. And he was like, Pop, he was like, I'm not worried the way you are. I said, well, why is that? He said, because you always held me down. He said, when I didn't have any friends, or nobody, wanted to come to birthday parties, or, nobody wanted to hang out, or, there would be birthdays or Christmases or whatever the holidays were, and no family would come or call or whatever. He was like, I just didn't really care. He said, because you'd be in there cooking, or, you'd buy me gifts, or, he was like, at the end of the day, you were always there. And even when I get annoyed about the absence of other people, I'm only so much, it's only to a certain point, because I got you. And like I said, there was a lot of dirt. There was stuff in the air, it had to be, my glasses might have been a little dirty, whatever. It just kept messing with my eyes. But it is something to be acknowledged, particularly from your child. But, for brothers, my question is, how often have you been made to feel appreciated, most particularly by the women in your life? Put that in the comment section. Let me kind of see. I'm going to conduct a kind of unofficial study, but I just want to get a sense from you. How much have you been acknowledged? To what extent have you actually been appreciated for the sacrifices you've made? Whatever those sacrifices may be, and please share them. Please do. Hope all is well. I am back, trying to be on the grind on a daily, but we'll see. Either way, y'all keep it easy. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.